All right.
Wait.
Okay, give us 1 minute where 1 minute. Hey, let me fix my. There we go. 1 minute, we're working on the closed caption, okay?
This is a video on how you can use the closed captioning option on Zoom. So like I showed you before, when you're on the actual Zoom website, you have the option for making closed captioning an option on your Zoom call. So as you can see again, I have 3 different versions of myself going right now, so I can show you what this looks like. So once you add that feature under options, if you go to more, and actually, if you expand this, they'll all show up at the bottom too.
Okay, let me
So the smaller your
see.
screen, then you have to click more to see the other options. If I expand my screen, you'll see the options fall at the bottom here too. So for closed captioning, you'll have an option that pops at the bottom that looks like this. So you have 2 options here. So this one says copy this token and paste it into a third-party closed captioning tool. I have not used this yet, but this would be if you have another tool that you can use on your computer for closed captioning, it will automatically make closed captioning pop up at the bottom here. Or what I think is cool, and this could be a good use of a co-teacher in your class, is you could assign someone to do the closed captioning for you. So if I go to closed caption again, I have the option to assign a participant to type, or I can type. So I want to show you both ways. So if I assign a participant to type, I can go to any person up here and click more. So I can't click on myself, but if I click to someone else that's in the presentation, I have the option to make them the host or to be able to assign closed captioning. So noticing right here, this is why I hesitated, because I'm on my phone. It looks like if you're on your phone, you cannot be a person that does closed captioning. So that's a good thing to know. But my other computer that is open right now, I have the option to assign them to be the one that's closed, doing the closed captioning. So if I click assign to closed caption on their side, it says right now when I'm looking at my other computer, it says the host has assigned you to type closed captioning, and there's an arrow pointing on closed captioning. They just click it, and then they have the option to start writing. So I'm going to show
Okay,
you
1 second. We're just
so
working on this closed caption feature.
what I'm saying. You notice right now at the bottom, it's popping up so that students will be able to read it. Really, really cool. So that would be if you have another person doing the typing for you. And if you notice right now on the screen, it's the CC, and that shows me that that person is doing the closed captioning for me. So I'm going to draw closed caption permission from that person right now.
Let me just check something here. Let me just check something here. Oh. Where's my chat? Okay. All right, we're gonna get started here, and I'm gonna read John 9. Chris is gonna read John 10, and Jess is gonna read chapter 11. Okay. All right. So I'll start with John chapter 9. John chapter 9. Okay. And it reads, Jesus heals a man born blind. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Rabbi, his disciples asked him, why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins? It was not because of his sins or his parents' sins, Jesus answered. This happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the task assigned us by the one who sent us. The night is coming and no one can work. But while I am here in the world, I am the light of the world. Then he spit on the ground, made mud with saliva, and spread the mud over the blind man's eyes. He told him, go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam. Siloam means sent. So the man went and washed and came back seeing. His neighbors and others who knew him as a blind beggar asked each other, isn't this the man who used to sit and beg? So he said he was, and others said, no, he just looks like him. But the beggar kept saying, yes, I am the same one. They asked, who healed you and what happened? He told them, the man they called Jesus made mud, spread it over my eyes, and told me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash yourself. So I went and washed, and now I can see. Where is he now? They asked. I don't know, he replied. Then they took the man who had been blind to the Pharisees, because it was the Sabbath that Jesus had made the mud and healed him. The Pharisees asked the man all about it. So he told them, he put the mud over his eyes, and when I washed it away, I could see. Some of the Pharisees said, this man Jesus is not from God, for he is working on the Sabbath. Others said, but how could an ordinary sinner do such miraculous signs? So there was a deep division of opinion among them. Then the Pharisees again questioned the man who had been blind and demanded, what's your opinion about this man who healed you? The man replied, I think he must be a prophet. The Jewish leaders still refused to believe the man had been blind and could now see. So they called in his parents. They then asked them, is this your son? Was he born blind? If so, how can he see now? How can he now see? His parents replied, we know this is our son and that he was born blind, but we don't know how he can see or who healed him. Ask him. He is old enough to speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders who had announced that anyone saying Jesus was the Messiah would be expelled from the synagogue. That's why they said, he is old enough, ask him. So for the second time, they called in the man who had been blind and told him, God should get the glory for this, because we know this man, Jesus, is a sinner. I don't know whether he is a sinner, the man replied, but I know this, I was blind and now I can see. But what did he do? They asked. How did he heal you? Look, the man exclaimed, I told you once, didn't you listen? Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciple too? Then they cursed him and said, "You are his disciple, but we are disciples of Moses. We know God spoke to Moses, but we don't even know where this man comes from." Why that's very strange, the man replied. He healed my eyes, and yet you don't know where he comes from. We know that God doesn't listen to sinners, but he is ready to hear those who worship him and do his will. Ever since the world began, no one has been able to open the eyes of someone born blind. If this man were not from God, he couldn't have done it. You were born a total sinner, they answered. Are you trying to teach us? And they threw him out of the synagogue. Spiritual blindness, verse 35. When Jesus heard what had happened, he found the man and asked, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" The man answered, "Who is he, sir? I want to believe in him." "Have you seen him?" Jesus said, "And he is speaking to you." "Yes, Lord, I believe," the man said, and he worshiped Jesus. Then Jesus told him, "I entered this world to render judgment, to give sight to the blind, and to show those who think they see that they are blind." Some Pharisees who were standing nearby heard him and asked, "Are you saying we're blind? If you were blind, you wouldn't be guilty," Jesus replied, "but you remain guilty because you claim you can see." Amen. Amen. All right. Uh, all right. So we are on chapter we're on chapter 10 now. And I just want to ask Jessica if she's able to read my lips some. And let me check the YouTube page, because sometimes YouTube, you're able to see the caption, but I don't think it's up there on YouTube yet. No, it's not on YouTube either. Okay, she says a little bit. Okay, so Brother Chris.
You ready? Sorry. You ready for me to read, Amory?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jesus is the Good Shepherd. Chapter 10. I assure you, anyone who sneaks over the wall of a sheepfold rather than going through the gate must surely be a thief and a robber. For a shepherd enters through the gate. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice and come to him. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. After he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them, and they follow him because they recognize his voice. They won't follow a stranger. They will run from him because they don't recognize his voice. Those who heard Jesus use this illustration didn't understand what he meant, so he explained it to them. I assure you, I am the gate for the sheep, he said. All others who came before me were thieves and robbers, but the true sheep did not listen to them. Yes, I am the gate. Those who come in through me will be saved. Wherever they go, they will find green pastures. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give life in all its fullness. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will leave the sheep because they aren't his and he isn't their shepherd. And so the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. The hired hand runs away because he is merely hired and has no real concern for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own sheep, and they know me. Just as my Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep too, that are not in this sheepfold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. And there will be one flock with one shepherd. The Father loves me because I lay down my life that I may have it back again. No one can take my life from me. I lay down my life voluntarily, for I have the right to lay it down when I want to, and also the power to take it again. For my Father has given me this command. When he said these things, the people were again divided in their opinions about him. Some of them said, he has a demon, or he's crazy. Why listen to a man like that? Others said, this doesn't sound like a man possessed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind? Religious leaders surround Jesus at the temple. It was now winter, and Jesus was in Jerusalem at the time of Hanukkah. He was at the temple, walking through the section known as Solomon's Colonnade. The Jewish leaders surrounded him and asked, how long are you going to keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly. Jesus replied, I have already told you, and you don't believe me. The proof is what I do in the name of my Father. But you don't believe me because you are not part of my flock. My sheep recognize my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life and they will never perish. No one will snatch them away from me, for my Father has given them to me, and he is more powerful than anyone else. So no one can take them from me. The Father and I are one. Once again, the Jewish leaders picked up stones to kill him. Jesus said, at my Father's direction, I have done many things to help the people. For which one of these good deeds are you killing me? They replied, not for any good work.